Hi, good day all. Asa from Creative Fairy Designs. Thank you very much for joining me today. And in today's episodes, we are going to learn how to make this nature junk journal with a wraparound. Inside contains two signatures, and for the outside of the cover, I've used two green hanging folders. All of these printables are available at my coffee shop. It's free, so stop in there, download them, and follow along as we go, or you can just download them for your personal use. So I'll just show you quickly what the journal looks like, and then we're going to start making it. And we're just going to do a quick flip through. So this is the twine with the leaves, and it opens out like this with some pretty dogwood flowers. And there is a flip through of the pages later on in the video. And over here we have added a piece of lace trimming. There's a pocket here. We have two signatures. I'll just very quickly flip through because, like I said, later on I'll flip through the pages that I've added. This is the second signature. Some coffee dyed paper, music sheets, vintage paper, printables, and to the back another pocket, and it closes like this with our string. These will be the printables that we will be using to make this journal. This is the flap, this is the outside flap, this is the inside flap, this is the outside cover, and this is the inside cover. And I'm just going to use this piece of fabric to place over the fine. It's a thin organza fabric. You can place fabric or lace or whatever you have at hand. It's going to contain two signatures. Each of the signature has about 10 pages, and added on pages about 13 pages, and both pages are printed double-sided, which we're going to fold over. So this is for the signature. Again, the first page was printed on photo paper, because we want that thickness when we start to add our journal. This is just a vintage paper that I bought. I've added book page with washi tape in the center. And all the rest of the pages are printed on regular A4 paper, coffee dyed paper. Coffee dyed ledger paper. Lovely fun. Page. This is the other side of the paper. This is journaling page, very beautiful journaling page, and this is an eco dye imitation. So you have this nice lovely photo and you can journal in this lovely space. And in this, as we go along, we're going to add our embellishments and so on. Regular parchment paper. So this is the book page. Journaling pages. Coffee dye paper. I just add a few of everything. I will add my envelopes and other items and so on. Flowers, butterflies, dragonflies, and everything related to nature. It's available free. It's at my coffee shop. You can hop in there and check it out. So I'm just going to quickly flip through and show you just a bit about the printed material. The first page is printed on photo paper, just the first page, because we want that thick consistency, because this is what we're going to use as the signature. So this is what is going at the back as a signature, and the rest of the pages are printed on regular A4 paper. So this is the eco dye. I've added a book page, vintage post box, and this is a beautiful image of some lovely dragonflies. I've added a manuscript page, vintage birds, and here I've just added a page from a magazine. And there's enough journaling space in this journal, and this is a clear parchment paper. And using the A4 paper, the pages have been printed both sides just to utilize the pages. We don't want to waste it. So this is the other side of the photo paper. Again, one page is printed on photo paper because we are going to use this as a signature. It's a thick photo paper. You can choose any medium of your choice, or you can just get cardstock, craft paper, and print the image on regular paper and stick it on. It's all up to you. And the rest is regular A4 paper. Again, I've added a book page. This is another journaling page. More journaling space. Music paper. Butterflies. More journaling space. This is the other side of the magazine page. A nice nature tree. Of course, mushrooms and parchment paper. We're going to put our signatures together, and this is how we're going to do it. So this is the photo paper, and this is a journaling page, and this is a background page. So we can use a background page and cut right around, cut out the white strip, and then all our papers will go inside the photo paper and fold over like this. So we have two signatures. We're going to cut around it and come back. For the cover of this journal, we are going to be using two hanging folders, the green hanging folders. The one that I have here, it's letter size. So we're going to remove the iron strip off both of them. And our signatures are going to go in like this. So we're going to just reinforce our folders and make it a little bit strong. So these are the two completed signatures that I've done, and I've folded them together. All our papers is inside. What I did for these papers is folded it like a trifold. You can fold it however you want. I just wanted everything to fit in as nicely as possible, given that little extra dimension to papers and sizes. So it's going to fold like this. So I'll show you how we'll do that. And the iron from the flap is going to go like this. So we're going to need two because we want to have a really strong journal. So we are just going to reinforce the inner part here and the inner part here with craft tape. And craft tape is pretty affordable, and it also gives a strong hold. The craft tape I'm using is called, it's a 2-inch craft tape, and it's called Pro 18 Craft Paper Tape. And it's a really strong hold, like I said. So after removing that iron piece, you'd be left with this. So we are going to tape it back. So this is the craft tape. Just run your craft tape along. And use your bone folder. So really press it down. It's okay if it gets a little crinkly like that. Really press it down to ensure that it's in. Do the other side, do the same. And continue doing it for both sides of the paper and both of the folders for that extra reinforcement. So this is my second folder, hanging folder. I've already done the first one, so I've just left the last part just to show you how I do this. So this is the craft paper. You're sticking it back down straight to the edge. Use your bone folder as a guidance to get it straight down. It's okay if it has those creases. It's going to be covered anyway. just snip off the edge. And come straight out. So we are going to have 2 completed reinforced green hanging folder. And our next step is to cover it up just like this. So nothing is showing at all. Now that we have both of our file folders together, we are going to use double-sided tape, score tape if you have, to stick it on. We want a really firm hold, so you can stick whatever you have at hand. We want the edges to be stuck really tightly. So this is double-sided tape, so I'm going to lay the tape down first and then remove the other side to get it stuck down. So we're going to run it straight across around the folder and in the inner parts of the folder, so it really seals the other folder well. Run it as close as possible to the edge because we want a firm hold at the edge, because we want this file folder, because we have reinforced it and we have used 2. We want it to look like 1. You can use Fabitac as an alternative. Fabitac holds it down really well. As a matter of fact, I think I would also be using some Fabitac as well. So I would mix it with double-sided tape and Fabitac, and that way I'm sure it's going to be a really strong, firm hold. And now that we have removed all our paper tips, so whilst I was placing my score tape, because I did it vertically to horizontally, I put a piece of tape over each other, so it was a bit difficult to get the bottom part out. So it's a lesson for you. I'll make the mistakes, you learn from them. And that's how we learn and create together. So I'm going to add Fabitac. This is an optional step. I'm added the Fabitac because I want that extra hold. And like I explained, Fabitac does give nice hold. So we're going to place the Fabitac between the cubes. So that way, when both of our hanging folders are stuck down together, it's really strong and it cannot move. When you make your books, whether it's for personal or commercial, you want to ensure that everything is done, even though we're using upcycle and recycled material, we want to ensure everything is done really neatly, nicely, and to the best of our ability. Of course, if you're using it for personal use and you just want to make a quick book, since all the printables are free, you use whatever you think is best. So now this is a bit of a challenging part. We're going to place our other file folder on top of it, and we must match it up evenly. So this is our next file folder. Of course, both of them are the same size. Match it up. Line it up as close as possible, edge to edge, perfectly. It must be perfectly aligned, edge to edge. It's the same size. Take your time and then guide accordingly. Once you have it in place, then you use your bone folder and bring it all together as if it was one. So now use your bone folder or your spatula. I'm using the spatula, plastic spatula first, so I don't leave any markings on my file folder. And you will need the bone folder for the edges, to squeeze down the edges. And if at some point in time you think you need to add more of the score tape or the Fabitac, then do so. And now you have a really nice firm file folder to put your signatures in. Now we're going to make our score marks and fold our cover for our journal. So these are the measurements. So you're going to measure the length. You're going to measure the length from top to bottom, 9 inches. So 9 inches is going to be the length. Measure straight across, and you can draw your line straight across here would be 9 inches. Then the width for the front cover is going to be 6.5 inches. Measure and draw your line. The spine is 3/4 inch. Measure and draw your line. The second half of the cover is going to be 6.5 inches. Measure and draw your line. After you've drawn all your lines, I draw my lines because it's just easier. I do not use a scoring board because I think it takes up a lot of time on air. You feel free to use your scoring board because we have thickened this material. But this is how I do my scoring. I use a ruler. This has been pre-scored just to save some time. I place my ruler directly to where I have my mark. Then I take the end of the scoring tool and use it as a guide to fold over. After I've done that, if it's a thick material, like in this case, I just tap along the edges until I get that fold. But we have to cut it and so on. So after we cut it, we can always crease down and seal down as the case may be. And our journal is going to go in. So our spine goes over like this and flap over like this. And I'm going to show you how we do all of that. There's going to be some excess that we have to cut off. This is the bottom part of the spine. We're going to cut off this part because we won't need it. Just going to use a smaller scissors for this because I don't want to cut too much. And this part here where the flap is, we won't be needing the underneath part, so we're just going to cut it off. And you need a really sharp scissors for this because remember it's multiple layers that we're cutting. And then we're going to taper the edges of the pocket. This is going to form 2 pockets. I like to draw my line first, just a slant diagonal line. Doesn't have to be too big. Just a small one will do. And this is how our journal is going to close. So we're going to have the pockets. Our two signatures are going to fit in here. And our flap is going to be like this. So if in the midst of cutting, like in my case, depending on where the glue was placed, if it's opening out a bit, like here and in the edge here, because maybe there may not have been any glue, just take a tad bit of your glue, Fabitac, or whichever glue you've used, and I'm using a scissors for this, and place it back to the edge, and just seal back the edge with the bone folder. And now we're going to put our signature, and to do so, I've used a piece of lace, and I'm just going to attach it to the center of the spine. Only the center of the spine. We are not going to stick it down yet because we have some printables to add here. So just like one strip of Fabitac in the center of the spine, and then place the lace right on the center. Tap down the center just for the center to dry, and this side is still loose, and that's because we want to add our printables so there's an overlap of the lace so it will look all pretty and nice. Now we're going to insert our signatures into the book, and to do this, take both signatures, place them next to each other, place them into the spine, directly into the spine, and we're going to measure, make sure they're side by side, exactly side by side lined up. This is a very simple way to put in your signature. It is a no-sew method, and when you have it there, you see from the spine, it is approximately 1/2 inch of the spine. So you're just going to take your pen or your marker or whatever you have at hand and place two markings. Place 2 markings exactly where each of the signature line up. Do the same for the bottom, 2 markings where the signature line up. You're going to take a punch, and I've already punched one hole in here, and just place the punch. I've already punched one hole here, and just place the punch. The punch should line up, and make sure that you're punching inside the spine. So what I did is I pushed my punch straight down to the edge, so that way I know it's lining up side by side. And again, check to make sure it's inside the spine and punch your hole. Do the same for the other side. Push the puncher straight in, make sure it's inside the spine, punch your hole. Do the other side, make sure it's directly inside and punch. Insert the first signature. What I've done, I've taken a piece of twine, just a strong regular twine. You can use anything you have at hand. I find the thread is a little too thin, and this is a no-sew journal. You can use twine, elastic, or whatever you have at hand. Through the hole, pass it through the hole from the back, and then I took an awl tool, which is this, line it up and pass it through and just brought the twine straight and forward. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do the other side. So from the back, bring it through where you have the other hole. Make sure it's tight at the back. At the back of the folder, see, make sure it's tight. Then come forward. Our first one is already in. Line it up, make sure it's all lined up. You can use clips if you want for this. So you can clip it down this way just to make sure that the signature does not move, so you get the correct position for the hole. And as I've shown you in my previous videos, I do like to add an extra step of reinforcement, which is where I stick the twine down just to ensure that it's really tight. So I use a Fabitac glue. You can use PVA glue or any glue that you have at hand. I like the Fabitac because it gives a strong, firm hold. Press it down, and this just adds that extra hold to your signature. And it's strong. It's not going to come out. Really strong to the back and everything. It's not going to fall out. It's a strong, sturdy journal. And now to place the flap, we're going to place the flap here, and we're just going to take a pencil and draw out our curved corner. Just trace it, just like this. Bring it straight out to the border, and we're going to cut this part out to get our shape. And for the front cover, I went ahead and to the end of the printables, I've added a piece of sheer material just to enhance it and make it look nice. And now we're just going to stick it down. I'm going to use Fabitac. Then we're going to do our cover. We're going to do the inside pieces. You can use any type of glue that you have and that you prefer. I just like to use the Fabitac. Now we're going to stick down this pocket. I'm just using regular glue stick for this one. I'm going to do the other side. Just going to finish up the journal by attaching a couple pieces of lace. And if you all are enjoying this video so far, do not forget to subscribe and please visit my Ko-fi shop. All of these printables are free, so you can stop right in, download them, and make yourself a nice pretty journal. Sure that you would love it. It's my gift to you as a creator. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy making this. I enjoy making this for you guys. It's a pleasant hobby of mine. And I had a lot of fun making this journal. Choosing out all the nice photos. There were so many choices to choose from. And then I'm just gonna attach this fancy one right there. I do find it really hard sometimes to get really nice, pretty lace or the vintage lace. And you know, lace makes everything looks awesome. Back to the front. Same, I'm going to attach a piece of this lace. And to tie our journal, this is what we're going to use. This is just a piece of string that I bought off Amazon. And I added an extra piece of string or twine. I added an extra piece of twine to it. We're just going to wrap it around. And like I said, the theme of this journal is a nature theme. Just wrap it around. And of course, what goes better with a nature theme than leaves? Just tie it on the bow, just like that.